Okay, this is Little Boy Crying by
Yeah.
Mervyn Morris, and I think we should talk about, because it's the complexity of the emotions
Yeah.
in the poem, and in a way we'll see those in the structure. Um, we'll see them in the contrast, the sort of empathetic language here um, of the start, and then the kind of paternal distance. You cannot understand, not yet, as if to say, you will, my child, my 3-year-old, and so will you, the reader. You will understand when you become a dad um, how important it is to make sure that you know what to do, what not to do, and that includes not crying too much.
Yes.
Okay, um, which is a complex, nuanced thing. You want to be on your child's side, but also you want to guide them through life in a way that prepares them for the fact that it's not always straightforward. Now, what I suggest we do, um, because actually it's not that complex, this, but there's quite a lot going on in the details of the rhythms and things like that. So I'm going to read it now, and I want us to listen out for one is where the stresses fall, because it's quite a bumpy poem. It looks quite regular, it looks quite calm, but it's quite a bumpy poem where the stresses fall. Just when you think you can rely on the rhythm, it upsets you like a
Yeah.
like a kind
Yeah.
of mimetic of weeping,
Yes. Yeah.
mimetic of kind of visceral sobs, um, and uh,
Visceral sobs. You mean like
mm,
one like? What, can you what you mean like?
like the kind of involuntary movement of your diaphragm that
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go child's perspective here. So there's certain structural things that we need to
Yeah.
look out for, as
Yeah.
well as the sort of details of the language. Um, and there's a contrast there
Was
between the
that? Does it
child.
finish there? You must.
That's absolutely right, and
Oh.
that's yes. We'll look quite closely at that use of the word "you" um, as well, because very important to this poem throughout, and is possibly worth mentioning very early on in any essay, is the second person,
Yes.
um, mostly singular.
Which was also the caged bird.
Um,
He. There. It was.
that's
No, that was
third
third
person.
person.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
second person is a kind
Yeah.
of about
Direct.
you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it has a very odd effect, almost like a love poem when you use the word "you." If I say, "I have always loved you," woo woo, then you, the listener, you might feel that you're being addressed by Dolly Parton, or you might feel you're listening in on Dolly Parton professing her love, and you might imagine that. So why I'm saying that is because this is directly addressed to a 3-year-old boy.
Yes.
Um, and we're not a 3-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But by the end of the poem, you must not make a plaything of the rain, as in, which I've always taken to mean you mustn't turn on the taps of weeping just
Yeah.
because it suits you, because this
Yeah.
stuff's really serious. Um, it's almost like that French impersonal, like, il ne faut pas, or on ne saurait jamais
Yeah.
faire un jouet de la pluie. You must never make a toy out of the rain.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's read it, because I want to hear that. I want to listen out for the kind of lurches of rhythm,
Yeah.
and where they fall. And I might just interrupt my reading to point those out. Your mouth contorting in brief spite and hurt. So far that's a slightly bumpy, but an almost formal. Your mouth contorting in brief spite and hurt. We've got I ams there, so a little bit of pentameter for a moment, but don't rely on it. Your laughter metamorphosed into howls.
That's a bit of a weird line.
It is. I rather like it though. That is very pentameter. Your laughter metamorphosed into howls. To metamorphose, you know what this is.
Yeah.
To change. That's to say, we quite often use it though. In poetry, you've got Ovid's
It's
Metamorphoses.
very gothic.
Yes, actually, the idea of, oh my god, you used to be a happy
Yeah.
child, and now look, you're a monster.
It's very mammal like.
Yeah,
It's doing the
yeah.
opposite of the case. It's turning.
Mm.
It's turning. It's dehumanizing. It's
Yes.
animalistic
Oh, yeah.
language.
And yes, actually, it is. It's something else as well.
Yeah.
This is what we call metonymy.
Could you
Um,
use that in a poem, or is that more
yeah,
anything?
you can use it in anything.
Okay.
Metonymy is a technical term for when you indicate someone or something by a part of them. And in English we say things like we've got a roof over our heads or you've got a new motor. But which is a so when you say roof instead of house, and you say motor
Okay.
instead of car. And here, what we're doing is we're looking at bits of the kid, not the whole kid.
So if I said to Toad, I don't know, you got your head screwed on today.
Yes, exactly. So rather than saying you're thinking or
Yeah. Okay.
you're coordinated,
Yeah.
you would yes,
So it's
exactly.
not really a euphemism, but it's
No, but
it's
it can. In fact, it can.
yeah. Okay.
Sometimes it's the way of taking in a situation bit by bit. Yeah, and sometimes it's a way of doing horror. So you
Yeah.
might say, a hand appeared from behind the door. Ah, whose hand is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
But is that metonymy?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's. I mean, it's an extension of that idea of representing somebody by
Or
bits
you're
of
just
them.
you're just 5 feet behind the rest of us. That
Yes,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Which is a yeah.
So most of it is done in expression, but that is
Yes,
your laughter metamorph.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Metonymy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your mouth. Actually, the pentameter goes on for a little longer than they thought. Your frame so recently relaxed, now tight, with 3-year-old frustration. Your bright eyes. Now,
So there's hang on.
now
Your
yes.
fame so recently relaxed, now tight,
Mm.
with 3-year-old frustration. Your bright
All
eyes.
right. Yeah. So we've got 10 syllables with 3-year-old.
But the bright and the tight, are they
frustration.
trying to rhyme?
No, I don't think so.
So that's just a
I don't.
fluke.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think. I think any rhymes
Yeah.
here are either half or accidental.
Okay.
I've ruled out rhyme actually, but look at what happens to the so. And I'll talk about this in a moment. This is if you want a grand word, this is called a transferred epithet.
God. What does that mean?
What it means is, the boy is 3 years old, not his frustration. So it's almost like the language has got so out of control that this descriptive phrase, this kind of adjective, 3-year-old, has ended up in the wrong place. Oh my God, the kid hasn't been frustrated for 3 years. In fact, the poem even tells us your
Yeah.
laughter has just turned into howls. You were laughing just now. You haven't got
It's
to.
not. Yeah. It's not with 3-year-old
Yeah.
frustration.
It's the frustration
You're
of a
fr-
3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just ended up there like, oh my God, he's been so frustrated for that
3
it
years.
looks
Yeah.
like he
It's
spent
in
his
French-
life like
it's
this.
like in French, we have to remix it up.
Yes,
Transferred
exactly.
epithet.
Yes, it's a transferred epithet. So really, it's him. It's the boy who's 3 years old, not his frustration.
And that, I think I should write those 2 words. So
Yes,
transferred
yeah, that's
epithet.
right.
So that's what does that do for the reader?
I
If
think
you
for
saw
the
that,
yeah,
what would it do to you?
I think on this occasion, and always with this device, you have to think, or with any device, you have to think, yeah, but what's it doing right now
Yeah.
in the context of this poem? Well, I think this poem, it starts off fairly controlled.
Yeah.
We're describing a kid by bits of him, but by the time we get to line 4, the child is so all over the place.
Yeah.
Actually, oh look, there is his mouth, there's his laughter, and then there's some howls, and then there's this frame, as
So
in his
you
whole
don't even
body.
know if that frustration is
Yeah.
because it's confusion.
Yeah, and then his frustration is he's become another part of him as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
He's got a mouth, he's got emotions, he's got a physical body, a frame, he's got frustration, and the whole thing is just such a mess and all over the place.
So he's being depicted by his feelings.
Yes. Brilliant. And also, I would say this sort of mishmash is mimetic of almost a tantrum. Mimetic of confusion, a tantrum.
So metonymy, is that related to autonomy? Autonomy is like
No. Metonymy means the onym bit means a name, like anonymous, and met means with
so
or
you
after.
can use these kind. You can
So
use
it's like naming after. Whereas
transferred
anatomy is the
epithet,
Greek
and
for
you can
cutting
use
up.
these things in GCSE.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in language papers, it happens
Okay.
all the time. Like with what we were talking about earlier with passive and active verbs and abstract
Yeah.
nouns. And there's one there. Look, we got physical or concrete nouns.
Yeah.
Look, you've got a mouth, you've got laughter, you've got a frame. We
Yeah,
can look at all these things.
yeah.
Oh, and you've got frustration. There's a mix
Yeah.
up of the abstract noun here, the frustration,
Yeah.
and the concrete
Okay.
ones. Now, I just want to talk about the rhythm because all this kind of banging on about the tick-tock, the iambic pentameter.
Yeah.
Look
So
at what happens here,
so it is iambic.
and then it stops.
Yeah. Okay.
Swimming tears splashing your bare feet.
You stand there angry
Yeah,
for a
the
moment's hint.
yeah, the
of
stress,
guilt or sorrow.
the stress hits the beginning of the line
Yeah.
here, and
Oh, it's gonna do that thing where
yeah,
it doesn't let you write
it,
again.
well, we'll just work with it. We've written quite a lot.
Yeah.
That the stress hits the beginning of the line there, and we call that a trochee. In the world of iambic pentameter, we've got the iamb tick-tock, and then the trochee goes.
How do you
Tock,
spell
tock.
that word, trochee?
If I could write it, I
Is
would
it
be
like
writing
Trochee?
Trocchee.
Trochee.
Yeah, and it's the word for when you hit a line. If you want to spot a trochee, then you really want to look at the first syllable of a word, of a line. And if it's stressed, there's a very good chance you've got
Yeah.
a trochee. And here we are. He's choking on his trochee, swimming tears splashing your bare feet. And then we're back to
Yeah.
you stand there angling for a moment's hint of guilt or sorrow for this quick slap struck. Now, we've got a hint there. I think I'm back. We've got a hint. Trochee. You've got a hint there of internal rhyme, or this is assonance, really, isn't it? Quick and struck.
Yes.
Because assonance is really when you mess around with what we call the vocalic, the kind of internal vocalic bit. So quick and struck. There's more of a rhyme there than you get anywhere else in the poem.
If you were to talk about the trochee,
yeah,
would you just say your bright? Would you just say so? Line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So line 5 begins on a trochee, which
yes,
is in which is a like a direct link to the fact that the boy is, I don't know, it's a kind of exaggerated noun.
Well, it's certainly this is a kind of participle verb. So
Yeah.
swimming tears splashing your bed. That's what your eyes are doing. Oh, look, your eyes. That's another example of metonymy. They're doing stuff. Do you remember what we were saying about active and passive
Yeah.
verbs? Oh, look, your bright eyes. They've taken over your whole body. They're actually the kind of guiding part of it. What we can say is, just as the language has got confused, the concrete and the abstract nouns, so the rhythm has gone as well.
Yeah.
The rhythm's gone to pieces as well. Swimming tears, splashing your bare feet, and then the whole language. And this is the shocking part. We become aware at the end of the first stanza, the dad, the father figure, the ogre, has hit the kid.
Yeah.
And there has been corporal punishment of the kind that has been banned for a while in Scotland and has just been banned in Wales. Of guilt or sorrow for the quick slap struck.
It's very onomatopoeia.
Exactly.
It's quick slap struck. It's
with those short vowel sounds in monosyllables.
Yeah.
Short vowels.
And monosyllables.
Yeah.
But you
and
can
at the end
also
of a
say,
line.
Can you say onomatopoeia for that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The ogre towers above you.
Yeah, now, okay. Now, I feel we've had a pretty good go at that first
Yeah.
stanza, so we can move on to the second one, which is kind of an allegory.
Yeah.
It's a fairy story bunged into the middle.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try and see it from how you see it. Children.
Perspective change.
Yeah, it is. And what we've got here is, there's kind of, so stanza 1 is a kind of observation of the
fairy
kid.
story there.
Yeah, and you know what's about fairy story?
Yeah.
It's Jack and the Beanstalk. The ogre towers above you, that grim giant, empty of feeling, a colossal, cruel. That's an adjective.
Yeah,
but it's used like it's a noun. Doesn't that sound odd? A colossal, cruel. It's not even cruelty.
Yeah.
It's almost like kids' language. You're such a cruel. Like you
So
might say, oh, you silly.
That's not transferred epithet.
No. What's really odd here is that the adjective is used as a noun. It's a kind of
Yeah.
Do you know how it is when your child says you silly?
Yes. Yeah.
You stupid.
Yeah.
Adjective used as noun. Childlike. Soon victim of the tale's conclusion, dead at last. It's quite an odd place to put a caesura, I would say. Quite a lurchy place. And then there's enjambement, at last. You hate him. Now, it's quite odd, this him. It's very hard to avoid this suspicion that the man is never named. There's no first person singular. There's no I hit my child.
Yeah.
It's impossible to avoid the feeling that this dispassionate, this kind of observation, this almost empathetic observation of the kid, and this need to justify the behaviour in stanza 3 is kind of a dad saying, "You don't understand."
Yeah.
It's the
So is the dad trying to justify himself?
That's how I read it.
You hate him. So this is to you hate him. You imagine chopping clean the trees he's scrambling down. It's very, very graphic.
Yeah, so like the giant. So there's Jack having to get down the beanstalk, the giant trying to chop it down.
Plotting deeper pits to trap him in.
Yeah.
You cannot understand, not yet.
Yes. So do we, before we move on, so do we feel we've got that one? That it's kind of very dramatised.
Very childlike, the second verse.
Yes.
Whereas the third verse, I remember, let's have a look.
It's paternal, and I would suggest it's a little patronising, but you can't really write patronising. You can't really criticise the poet. But
you cannot understand, not yet. The hurt your easy tears can scold him with.
Yes, that's kind of...
So that's in hindsight, that last verse.
You know that there's that sort of grim public school tradition of corporal punishment where the teacher's supposed to say, "This hurts me more than it hurts you."
Yeah.
And you think, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And actually, but that's the point of this poem.
Yeah.
You cannot understand.
To kind of haunt the boy with the guilt that he would suppress on others. Like the fact that one day you'll
understand that I'm the victim. Yeah. I'm the main character of this poem, not you with your weird tears.
Yeah.
You cannot understand the hurt, your easy tears.
So it's so easy. Replacing the subject. Replacing the...
Yes. Well, we've got him. Him, the grim ogre, is back. Notice that there's been no mention in stanza 1 of the guy who did this slap.
Yeah.
It's only on line 11 we even have that pronoun. And there it is. And now that character becomes a little bit more main. The perspective shifts to the wielder of this blow. Your easy tears.
Yeah.
Look at how scornful that word is. Oh yeah, easy for you
tears.
to cry.
So it is patronising. You can't say it's not.
I think that is right.
I guess you could say mocking instead again, couldn't you?
Yes, even then it's pretty.
Nor guess the wavering hidden behind that mask. This fierce man longs to lift you, curb your sadness.
Yes, that is. I mean, that's just parenting.
So it's all about convincing the boy, convincing him.
Yeah, I'm really cross with you.
Yeah,
but it's. So in answer to the question,
it's all about the truth.
Yeah, how does it express complex emotions?
Yeah.
Well, in a way, the emotions aren't complex.
Yeah.
It's just that the man can't express what he's really feeling.
Yes.
I mean, he feels two very simple things: stern strictness and guilt.
Yeah.
And he has to hide one of those.
Yeah.
This fierce man. So
with piggyback, curb yourself with piggyback or bullfight.
I love this. Look at it. It's good, isn't it? This fierce man, me, the narrator, the persona, the speaker, you could say, longs to lift you. Longs, the intense longing of those the liquid also. No, there's
monosyllabic.
One.
Monosyllabic.
It is actually. But there's something about that. I mean, it's just an intense word, but that does make that vowel longer.
Yeah.
Even though it's a short vowel sound.
Curb your sadness with piggyback or bullfight. Anything.
Yeah, and look at where that word anything is placed. There's a beginning of a list with piggyback or bullfight or
anything.
Drafts, Connect Four, I don't know what. And the list stops with that caesura.
Yeah.
Anything. I'm so desperate. I don't care what it is. I just want this whole bollocking finished.
But dare not ruin the lessons you should learn.
Yeah. And
so
then,
it ends on, well, don't you think you've got away with it this time?
Yes. Yes, exactly. You've got to have learned.
Yeah.
You should learn. And this is almost kind of ambiguous. So it could mean two things. It could mean one, the lesson you've just learnt for whatever nonsense you've just done and I've punished you for, like, I don't know, turning the kettle on or lighting or
Or
putting your
it could
fingers
be
in a
the
candle.
lessons he'd learn as not to be so harsh on
Or yes, exactly.
how his dad has punished him because it hurts
Exactly.
his dad more than him.
Yes, this is the other lesson you must learn.
Yeah, you must not make
yeah.
a plaything of the rain.
Yeah.
You
And
must
this is
not.
put in very general, it's like a kind of moral,
Yeah,
moralizing tone. And as I say, with that almost impersonal sense of you, as in one, you people generally must not make a plaything of the rain. Don't turn on the taps
yeah,
of crying. Don't exploit my emotions because it's really difficult for
yeah.
me.
You must not make a plaything
Yeah.
of the rain.
It's also, I slightly wonder, and we could possibly end on this point. I slightly wonder if the father's talking to himself there as well, and almost saying, I similarly as a parent,
What does it mean when it says like plaything of the rain? Does
toy,
it mean
don't use tears as a kind of
as a kind of getaway?
yeah, because remember they
As a
talked
get
about
out of jail
easy
free
tears.
card.
Exactly. Don't just turn on the waterworks just to get out of trouble. But similarly, it might mean to the father, don't just make someone cry because you need to learn a lesson. I mean, it could possibly mean that as well.
You must not make a plaything of the rain.
Yeah. Could it be?
So it could be.
Warning.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Ambiguous. You
To
don't know
parents.
who it's to. Yeah.
Who exploit tears.
Yes.
And that mysterious general point is perhaps where we end as much as the poem does.
Yeah.